Well, it's Monday. Well, it is the third Monday in the month of March 2020. It is still the morning spice, and this is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. This day, the first official work day of the week, and this morning, we're taking a look at the alleged exclusion of Southeast and also Edo State from the $22.7 billion loan request approved by the Nigerian Senate. Welcome to the program. My name is Michael Oni. Now, except they are reconsidered, the entire Southeast geopolitical zone, as well as Edo State, may not benefit from the controversial $22.7 billion loan request approved by the Senate last Thursday. It was gathered that the exclusion of the Southeast and the Edo State, which is already generating furore, is a fallout from what has been described as a dirty politics that preceded the approval of the loan requests, which President Muhammadu Buhari presented twice to the National Assembly and eventually got the approval of the 9th Senate, led by Senator Ahmed Lawan. Now, the 8th Senate, if you remember, under Bukola Saraki, rejected that same loan request on the grounds of lack of details. But last week, the Senate ignored all requests to allow for debate on the details of the loan and approved the document amidst protest and uproar. The president had said that the loan was to ensure the prompt implementation of projects under the borrowing plan, with special emphasis on infrastructure, agriculture, health, education, water supply, growth and employment generation, poverty eradication, reduction through social safety net programs, governance and financial management reforms, among others. Now, details of this loan, as approved by the Senate, showed that the Southwest got $200 million, while the South, excluding Edo State, got $4,270 million. The Southeast, which is our point of focus this morning on the program, which produced 15 out of the 109 senators, got nothing from the loan. And more shocking is the fact that the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt, Clifford Odia, which processed the loan request and recommended its approval, represents Edo Central. However, the Northwest, which produced President Muhammadu Buhari, got $6,370 million, just as the Northeast got $300 million, while the North Central got $531 million, and $5,853 was reserved for general expenses. Now, in more specific details, the power transmission project in Lagos and Ogun states were given $200 million, just as $800 million was voted for East-West Road in the Niger Delta. The Coastal Railway project, that's the Calabar Port Harcourt on-air deep seaport segment, got $3.47 billion, that's Cross River and River State, and project in the Northeast that were covered in the loan at the multi-sectoral crisis recovered program. That's $200 million for Northeast. The Northeast Nigeria Integrated Social Protection, Basic Health, Education, Nutrition Services, and Livelihood Restoration projects. These are some of the projects that were captured in that loan that will be sought by the federal government as approved by the Senate in the northeastern part of the country. Now, the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, had, during his heated argument with the Senate Minority Leader, Eyinaya Baribe, before the approval of the loan, insisted that the recommendation of the committee should be taken and adopted. Baribe had also insisted that debate on the loan be on project-by-project basis. As the development generates furore, the Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization, Ohaneze Indigbo, just yesterday said it will investigate the allegations that the Southeast Zone was excluded from the $22.7 billion loan request. It has been approved now, and it said should the report be true, it would mean that Nigeria was on her way to implosion. That's according to the Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization, as Igbo would resist the exclusion. Now, the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of that organization, Mazi Chuks Ibegbu, said, and I quote, "We have to be sure the story is true. If it is true, then the Senate should reverse itself because it is not right. It does not make for development, peace, and unity. If it is true, it means Nigeria is on the road to implosion. It is no longer a united country. We will investigate the veracity in the story we are hearing." The Southeast Caucus has been engaging the leadership of the National Assembly, according to Senator Ike Poremadu. Now, this morning, we're centering our focus on the alleged exclusion of the Southeast Zone from that loan that was approved by the Senate. And joining me on the platform this morning is Chika Nwabweze. He's a journalist and also a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael. It's good to be on your program this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me once again.
Welcome back to Flow 94.9 FM. Yeah. We'll also be having the spokesperson of Ohaneze Ndigbo this morning on the program, Chuks Ibegbu, later on the program. But let me begin with you, Chuks. So, Mr. Chika Nwabweze, what do you think? You received that news.
Yeah.
What do you think about exclusion of the Southeast geopolitical zone?
Let me say it that some of us were, in principle, against Nigeria accessing that particular external loan. However, since it has been approved, since the 9th National Assembly, the Senate has approved that particular loan, then we should be more concerned now about the utilization, the implementation. What is the loan going to be used for? Okay. Now, it's until recently when the Southeast Caucus started their protest that some of us now came to realize that a whole region like Southeast was excluded. It's a willful exclusion, and nobody will say that you don't know that there's a region called Southeast, which is people, which is population and industry, and they were allegedly excluded. Well, I've not seen the details, the terms of the project, but I know that about 37 projects
I just ruled out that's the details during my introduction on the program
the projects,
none of those details pointed out where Southeast geopolitical zone was involved.
Okay.
I mean, will be involved in the project lined up there. But quickly, let's listen to the Southeast Caucus, the senators there at the National Assembly, what they said. And Senator Ike Poremadu spoke on their behalf. Let's listen to him speak.
Presented by the government, and for some obvious reasons, especially the issue of exclusion, it was not taken. So this has been returned to the present National Assembly. Regrettably, last Thursday, the Senate passed the borrowing plan, which excluded the whole of Southeast. I'd like to use the opportunity to thank our colleagues who were at the chamber that day, especially Senator Engineer Baribe, who made limited effort to get the matter addressed, the issue of the equity and equitable distribution. Most of us were not in chambers. I was in Lagos attending the INEC retreat on electoral reforms. Most of our colleagues were also outside the chambers. So we want to commend him for the effort he made and the other colleagues who were there during the conversation. So we met as a caucus of the Southeast National Assembly last night after consulting with our people and getting their feelings regarding this issue. And we decided that the best approach would be a constructive engagement with the National Assembly leadership. So this afternoon, we had a very good conversation with both the Senate President and also the Speaker of the House of Representatives. I'm here to report that we had a meaningful discussion. They showed not just concern, but commitment to addressing these issues. And they were satisfied with those assurances. So we are believing that the matter will either be revisited, or since it has not been passed in the House, the appropriate thing will be done, and then our people's fears will be assuaged. So we'd like to thank the Senate President and the Speaker for those assurances and their commitment to the national unity. and unity of this country, and also for justice to all parts of Nigeria. We believe that equity should be the way for our country to make progress. So they are committed to this equitable distribution of the loan facilities. So our thinking is that what the federal government presented was a borrowing plan. So since it's still a plan, so there's still opportunity for us to look at the distribution, so that every part of Nigeria will have a sense, of belonging with the way the loan will be managed. Because we believe ultimately every part of Nigeria will be part and parcel of the repayment. So if we are going to be part and parcel of the repayment, it makes every sense that we also benefit from the utilization of those funds. And we're concerned about certain facilities, including the eastern corridor of the railway from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. We're also concerned about the access to the sea, the provision of access to the sea for the people of the southeast, developing seaports in our area, and also power projects.
All right, those are the words of the man that represented, that spoke on behalf of the senators there at the National Assembly, the Southeast Caucus in the Senate. That particular press conference took place about a week after the Senate approved the foreign loan as requested by President Muhammadu Buhari. The approval, like I said, was preceded by heated argument and disagreement among lawmakers. Now let's take Mr. Chuksi Begbu, the spokesperson of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, is very much online now to speak to us this morning on our topic of discussion. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, thank you for joining on the program this morning. The spokesperson of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, how did you receive the news of the alleged exclusion of the Southeast Zone from that foreign loan being requested by President Muhammadu Buhari?
Well, it was very shocking when we had it, and we wanted to hear from our legislators, our representatives, and they have spoken, they met, and they have expressed their shock and surprise over the action. And from information they gathered, the National Assembly is seriously looking into it. But it's obviously evidence that some parts of the country are underrated or treated with ignominy. In the first place, hello?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
In the first place, there have been no reason for such. Because in political balance, taxation without representation is an aberration. You cannot tell the Southeast to be part of the repayment of this loan when they are not benefiting from it. There are many projects that are supposed to be the loan is supposed to address in the Southeast. We have the full industry that is moribund. We have the infrastructural deficit. We have so many challenges in the Southeast that the loan should have been been captured in the loan. So in the first place, it is an insult. It is a tragedy for the whole zone to be excluded from a loan that they are expected to be part of the payment. So I hope our Southeast Caucus, the National Assembly, are going to pursue it to the logical conclusion.
Okay, do you agree with the narration that has been ongoing about Southeast geopolitical zone being sidelined, being marginalized?
Of course, structurally, physically, and otherwise. This is the only zone that has 5 states and 95 local governments. This is the only zone where you don't have solid federal government presence. So it's been that is why we've been talking about restructuring. That is why we've been talking about putting the country in a better shape, so that all zones of the country will be treated equally. It's true. It is obviously true, and that accounts for part of the agitations some of our youth have been involved in. It is true. It's quite true.
Okay, is this particular exclusion now? Is it another form of marginalization?
Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? You you have a representative of the Southeast in the National Assembly, and when this vote was taken, none of them were. They did it. They ambushed them. They did it in such a way that many of them will not be there. So we will say it's a calculated attempt. It is a calculated attempt to continue the marginalization syndrome. So yes, that is our own assessment of it.
So, what is the position of Ohanaeze Ndigbo now in this particular exclusion?
Our position is that we have representatives in the National Assembly. We cannot go beyond them. They are there to represent our interests. They are interfacing with us. We will be monitoring them. We will be monitoring the situation, and we are here to protect the interests of our people. So our position is that the right thing should be done. The loan, because we are going to be part of the repayment. So there are many projects, the infrastructural deficits in the Southeast. You have this. We have been talking about the dredging of Imo River. We have been talking about dilapidated infrastructure. We have been talking about so many projects. There is so strong federal presence in it. When I say strong, you know what I mean. There are no federal industry. Where are the federal industries that provide jobs for our youth? So we are going to monitor it to ensure that the right thing is done.
Now, the foreign loan request has been approved by the Senate, by the same Senate that there are 15 of the Southeast geopolitical zones being represented out of the 109 senators, and the Southeast got nothing. Should in case the presidency refuses to include the Southeast as being requested by your organization, what will be the next step?
Well, until we get to the bridge before we cross it, the House of Representatives have not. The matter is still not close-ended. But if at the end of the day, with all the pressures, all the part on ground, Mr. President refuses to board in, refuses to carry along the task, then of course it will be glaring to the world that this zone is marked for exclusion. And of course, we will. This is not what we are going to tell the world. What we are going to do. We have our mechanism of addressing such.
All right, Mr. Chuks Ibegwu, thank you very much for being part of the program this morning.
It's a pleasure.
All right. Well, you heard him speak on behalf of the highest socio-cultural, political cultural group in this zone. And you heard the man who led the Senate to speak. He spoke on behalf of the Senate caucus, the Southeast caucus there at the National Assembly. What do you make of this? I mean, the statement made, he said the organization has its own mechanism to seek. Of course, there should be a redress to the issue. Mr. Chika.
Yeah, I listened to both of them, particularly Senator Ike Kuremadu, the leader of the Southeast caucus in the National Assembly. Well, he did say that it was not available the particular date that loan request was passed.
Yes.
And it's because they put it to him, where were you? And he said it wasn't available. And he gave reasons. He was attending to another important constitutional matter, INEC matters. The truth of the matter is that in as much as the Southeast is an integral part of the nation called Nigeria, we should be involved in everything. In terms of distribution of projects, in terms of allocations, we must get our own share. There must be equity. Equity should be seen to have been, done in this country. Okay. And now, as in terms of what the Ohanaeze youth man is saying, you ask him what next if in the event that not. Let me tell you now, maybe he didn't answer that question correctly. There is an option of legal action against the federal government. Yeah, in the event that they insist and they refuse to revert and do the right thing, and then the Southeast leaders, the Southeast elite will reserve the right to sue the federal government. Yeah, because the federal character principles and everything, was violated in this instance.
Well, okay, the Southeast Caucus in the Senate, do you think they've done well coming out a week after that exclusion?
They were a bit, their response wasn't quick enough, it wasn't swift enough, but sometimes you may not know what they were passing through, what must have been responsible for the delay. There was a little delay, but the important thing is that if they had come out a week after to lodge a protest, I think it's still within the acceptable time limit. It's not it's not as if they are behind time. In the House of Reps, for instance, at least the passage of that budget request, that loan request, has been put on hold, so that they will look into all these issues. If a segment of a country, they are making a protest over a loan you want to assess, that you exclude them from the projects you are going to use the loan to execute, what is the justification? There's no let me say that the Igbos have suffered historic injustice for a long time in Nigeria, and we have been talking on how to address it. And instead of addressing this
particular loan went through a particular committee. Adjustment, don't you think, should have been done when it was still within the purview of the committee, that's the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt, which was headed, which is still being headed by Clifford Odia, the man from Edo State, whose state was also excluded from the loan.
No,
the senators from the Southeast zone should have come out, during the period, probably to lobby to make sure that Southeast been included in that particular foreign loan.
Yeah, we are not members of the National Assembly, and they have also their own internal politics.
Okay.
And again, you see some of the federal government plans, they are usually not made, public. And so the details of this loan project is just coming out in trickles. We've not even seen the elaborate thing, because there should be, the Financial Responsibility Act must be seen to be implemented. Once you are taking such a loan, you should come out and explain, look at why we are taking it. Look, Southwest has this number of projects to be executed. You list the project. Northeast have this, you list them. But we don't have all those information. It is just skeletal. And now I don't blame the Southeast senators. If they were there, something might have, I don't know what happened at the committee level. Maybe they were not able to know. Even they noticed it late. Let me say, if they had a prior knowledge that this is what is contained in this proposal, borrowing plan of the family, is to be 2016-2018 borrowing plan, which was turned down by the 8th National Assembly. Now, this time now, Lawan have passed it, and you are passing it in this manner where it is also generating a lot of heat in the polity. It is not good for this country. It is not good for the federal government. Neither is it good for the National Assembly. Every segment of Nigeria, all the regions must be carried along in terms of project, in terms of execution of projects. So what we are saying is, let them go back and do the right thing.
All right, it is still the platform right here on Flow 94.9 FM, Monday edition, the first official work day of the week. And this morning, we're taking a look at the alleged exclusion of Southeast and Edo State from the $22.7 billion foreign loan that has been approved by by the Senate, and of course, which will be moved to the executive for onward approval. Now let's go straight to the phone lines. Now we want to hear from you. What do you make of this? So what do you make of the reactions and controversies as surrounding this exclusion, alleged exclusion of the Southeast from this foreign loan? 0808 182 6949, 0811 605 2949. You can also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chika.
Good morning to you, my brother.
Yeah, it's Alvan. I'm calling you from Bend.
Welcome, Alban.
Yeah, we are not surprised, that we were excluded. This is not the first time. We've been down. That is why we've been crying about marginalization. when the service chiefs were appointed, none of us were. It's not that we don't have anybody, So it has been the mark of this Buhari APC-led government. You see, and that is where we will continue to have a problem. People will continue to agitate. How would you tell me that in such huge amount of money, a particular and important part of this country was a deliberate something? I remember this thing is an executive bill, and the way this present government behaves. They don't listen to public opinion. They will always do whatever they want to do, and without even minding. So let us will continue to condemn it. The entire world will condemn it unless the right thing, is done. I watched the proceeding when the Senate president almost forced all of them. It was only the minority leader. It was at a point it appears that maybe it's just a true threat, something we continue to talk. So we are happy the likes of Senator T.O.D. have condemned it. So many people have condemned it, and we're happy that the House of Rep have refused to or have suspended it. So let's be. I can record when they asked this thing. Let us
quickly wrap up our
one
thoughts,
after
please.
the other. Even what the other things they said they are going to do with the money, they are going to invest in electricity, something you have privatized. So
Okay.
this loan thing should be suspended for now,
All
so
right.
that the right thing will be done. Have a nice
Thank
day,
you for your
Michael.
contribution. Have a nice day. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Honorable Cheka.
Good morning to you.
You hear me very well. I'm uptown, please. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning.
All right. I remember Mr. Prince Loswago from here in Omonachobo.
Welcome.
My brothers, the exclusion of the Southeast from the 22.7 billion. When I say billion, that is $1 billion. It's not naira. It is a very big slide to the entity called the Southeast. How can you remove a complete country called entity Southeast from a loan that will be paid by the common people of the Nigeria, including the Southeast? It is complete marginalization. The organization was telling us that they are making an investigation. To me, their investigation can never reach the ceiling of their houses, because what is done is done, and it can never be reversed. So what do we do? My advice is this: if they can use legal action to include us there, good. But if they cannot use legal action to include the Southeasterners, let the 17 or 16 senators and the lawmakers and the lower houses, let them resign to show sign of grievances. If they continue saying that, it means that they are supporting the illegality. So that is my thing. God bless.
All right. Thank you for your take, Mr. Princewell. Hello. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, my name is good morning, Mr. Peter.
Good morning to you.
Yes, you can see the problem we have is that if we are to be in unity, I think it's not be facing some of these challenges we are facing when it comes to this kind of inclusive, not including the Southeast in some of these projects. And this is a project in terms of paying back the money, the Southeast will be deeply involved. The resources there will be used to refund this debt. So we should not be able to keep quiet and allow such projects or such money be borrowed and be implemented without the inclusiveness of the Southeast. I would rather be asking that all the political heads, senators and House of National Assembly members, in the despite political parties involved, they should come together as Southeast executives and speak in one voice. Because after the party affair, they will come back home and still suffer the same whatever problem that will be left on them. So it's better to come out clearly and stand against such kind of project or such kind of ambition by this led government. In fact, we have witnessed a lot of failure in the administration of APC and Buhari, and that should not be allowed to continue. Thank you and God.
All right. Thank you, Sir Ike, for your contribution. Hello. Good morning to you.
Morning, Daniel. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning,
Daniel, calling from Ebonyi State.
You're welcome, all the way from Ebonyi.
Thank you very much. I think this is a kind of a situation where one will be pouring fuel into an already burning fire. This issue is in fact, this is the wrong time for people of the Southeast to start hearing something of this nature. Now that people are even Every day, there is no day you will not hear the word marginalization from Southeasters. The presidency should just come out and address this issue before it escalates. Before people will now say, yes, I think we have been saying it, that people they are marginalizing us. We want to go. This is not a good time for the presidency or even the National Assembly to allow this kind of issue to come up. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Daniel from Ebonyi State. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Good morning, my guests in the cities.
Good morning to you.
I'm Noble calling from Omaya.
You're welcome, Noble.
The issue is this. Sometimes when we sit down and reason and think of how things are going in this country, especially in this government, what we imagine? Who are the people that come up with the higher? The people that might have go through this issue of loan before they come to the house to present it. Didn't they know that this house has been included or some items are not going to house? Didn't they know it? As a normal being, are we talking? As if we don't know what we are doing. These people, it's a big plan and it's very bad. And they are giving these people more reason to say that they're marginalizing them. When it comes to security, you don't see them. Come to federal character, you don't see them. What are we doing? What are we saying? What should be the cost of this thing? People should think. How can the matter of the Southeast tackles leaders and so on? What are they doing? These people, all themselves senators, they say whatever. Coming up with this idea, taking this into the floor of the house and exclude some other places. Can't they think? Can't they? I don't know human being. It's very bad. Very, very bad. To be said. Now, look at I can listen to the amount of money you have mentioned to each of the locations. Look at those farmers, very big amount of money. But the revenue that we paying this debt in the future is coming from South and South. Even if South is in one of the oil producers, revenue from here be paying this debt in the near future. But in exclusive, they're paying their ODB. My dear, this country is tired people. This government should think. This government cannot think very well. That's my take.
All right, that's your take. Thank you for your take. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Please, my take on this issue is that in the Senate, we have people representing us from the Southeast. I heard Senator Abaribe saying, saying that the day of this discussion, they have engagement and other things. Why are they representing us? Are they telling us that the committee that went for this issue does not bring it in the Senate and read in the first one or second one? So what are they telling us? So that means that the senators are not representing us very well. This issue has been come up before, and they have had all those issues before. So why are they telling us that this is the first time they are having caucus meeting? And Mr. Mike, let me tell you, the senators from the Southeast is not representing us very well in the Senate. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your take. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Alvin. I'm calling from Alabama.
You're welcome.
I think I have an issue with media people always using our legs. Is it that it's not been confirmed that we actually excluded from this loan, or what exactly? Why do you always use alleged? I mean, come out straight and say, look, this is exactly what happened. It's not confirmed. Let's know. But I've heard it severally saying alleged. Is it that it's not confirmed that we were excluded, or what exactly? And then I heard a Koreman coming out to say that he actually met with the Senate president. I mean, is it not all right? We're acting like it's a privilege. It is all right. At the end of the day, we're going to be the ones to pay back these things. And then at the end of the day, you'll be telling people not to agitate. And then when you come on radio, you ban us from using certain words so that NBC do not sanction you. I don't know. You don't beat a child and expect the child not to cry. This is exactly what's happening to the Southeast. And when people agitate, you send out Operation Python down from them. Why would they exclude these people? And then the Kwemadi is telling us that he has gone to appeal to them. And then I also listened to the Imam from Ohane Zendibo saying, I don't know, the way they were saying with so much levity. And then you're expecting us not to protect, you're expecting us not to seek for our own country since we are not needed. I mean, very obvious that we are not needed in this country anymore. And when we try to agitate, they try to shut us up. I mean, we're going to pay back this loan and you're asking us not to be included in I mean, look at the whole of Southeast. You can't even boast of any tangible federal government presence in this place. The roads are bad, even the bar. I mean, there's absolutely nothing. I don't know. And when you use alleged, I think I have an issue with the word alleged. Why are you saying alleged? Is it not confirmed that we will actually excluded? I don't really get it. For me, there really is. They want us to still remain in this country. They will have to include us in this. And I mean, look at the federal appointments all over the whole place. It's really, I don't know. It's really very annoying. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for your take. Hello. Good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning, Mike.
Yes, you're welcome.
I'm Samuel from Alabama.
You're welcome, Samuel.
Mike, you see the people representing the party, they are not doing anything at all. Because the cry of Ekweremando is just a medicine after death. The Southeast has at least 50 senators in the Senate. And it's only one man that stands right in that discussion. And that is the Senator from Abia State Atari. Before this thing was action and everything said, the Southeast had they raised the voice up to 3 or 4 in the Senate, something concrete would have come down. Now everything has been settled, and the Ekweremando is coming out to tell us that he has to do that, he has to do that. Let me tell you, the Southeast, they are not strong enough even to represent themselves in the Federal House of Rep as the Senate. So most of the problem from the Southeast is from their own people. And believe me, Biafra will never stop until the right thing is done in this country. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you for your contribution. Let's get more reactions to this. It looks like people are not happy about this exclusion. You heard the lady there still talking about marginalization of the Southeast people. It looks like this may not end up in a good way at the end of the day if it is not being properly managed. Do you see it being managed? Do you see Southeast being included in that foreign loan with this agitation coming from people and also coming from the Senate, the socio-political organization here in the Southeast, and so many persons? You heard the reaction.
Yeah. So,
no positive reaction there.
No, nobody can. Are you even happy in even being a Yoruba man? It doesn't speak well of the leadership. You can't know the right thing and you continue to do the wrong things, over and over again. This is a region that have been marginalized. It's not that Southeast they are crying of marginalized. It's that they have been marginalized, over the years. And we are talking of how to redress this act of marginalization. And instead of you to do something to reassure this important region that look, it's not that they are not being carried along, but look at the reason why. And you are also doing things that will further confirm their fears that they are being excluded in important things. It's not even only about this project. There are a whole lot of things. Now we say we have so many projects in the Southeast that are begging up for execution. We talk about the deep seaport. We have not done any. Even the second Niger bridge, thank God that they have started. What about the completion? What is the level of work being carried out there? Now, what percentage of completion have we attained? Now, you talk about the roads. You have the Abai-Kotek-Beni road that is in a very deplorable state. You have the Omahe-Kotek-Beni road that is in a very terrible state. We have other federal roads. Thank God for Enugu, Port Harcourt. Work is ongoing. But we are saying even power. Do we have any federal government power plant that will supply light in the Southeast in case of any eventuality? These are the things we are saying. And there is no strong federal presence in this region. And some people are blaming our lawmakers. Well, you can blame them, but don't blame them so much. It's not their own making. If you don't have strong lawmakers who can, take the bulls by the horns, you continue to suffer this kind of injustices over time. So, but thank God at least they've been able to come up now and protest. So everybody should join in this protest so that they have to address this situation and correct this mistake. If you say as an error, it's a costly one, so it needs to be corrected immediately.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chika Nwabweze. a journalist and also public affairs analyst, for your analysis on the program this morning, the platform. And also many thanks to Chuks Ibegbu, the spokesperson of Haneze Ndigbo, for lending his voice and also stating the position of the social political group here in the Southeast Zone. Thank you very much, and many thanks to the producer of the program, Samson Eze. The program returns on Wednesday, where we'll bring up another issue as it affects our dear nation, Nigeria. Many thanks for being part. My name is Michael Oni.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.